Hello everyone, I'm Vikas from Small Academy and welcome to another part on Android note taking application development with Firebase. In the last video, we created the add note functionality. We added the note into the firestore and we displayed that note into the recycler view using the Firebase UI dependencies or Firebase UI classes. In this video today, we are going to add another functionality into our application to edit the note, and we will simultaneously update the note into the Firebase database as well. So to do that, first we need the edit note activity where we can edit the content of the note that we currently have in the recycler view. Okay, so let me create the new activity from our Java package, create new activity, and we're gonna check the empty activity this time and give the name as edit note. For the activity, click on finish. Once the activity is created, we are ready to. Okay, the activity is created now. Now I want to start the edit note activity whenever somebody click on the edit icon in our note details activity. So let me go here and open this activity edit activity note details XML layout file, and here we have this edit note button. So you may have this different icon here, so you can change the icon from here. Click on this, select the IC mode edit button, or you can create that icon from the drawable. Okay, if you don't have that, select that and change the background color by from here background. And once you have this icon here, I'm gonna go back to the node details.java file here, and inside this on click we have handled the on click on that button, right? So whenever somebody click on that edit icon there, I want to send them to the edit note activity. So for that, I'm gonna start the new activity here, and I can use the shortcut method of starting activity directly, but since we need to pass the data, so this is the edit note activity, and when we start the edit note activity, I want to send the data to that activity which is previously present in our node, because we want to edit that node, right? So we want to add extra content or we want to delete something from the node. So it is important to send the currently present content of the node into the edit activity. For that, I'm going to create the new object of intent class, intent I, new intent, and here I'm going to give the context, so view.getContext, as well as the destination activity, that is edit note class in our case. All right, so now I'm going to pass the data. So data that I want to pass is content and the title. All right, I did put extra, just like how we had passed the data from the recycler view to the node details activity. I'm gonna use the same technique here. So title, and I'm gonna pass the content. So we have the content saved in this data variable, which is also the intent object where we have received the data from the main activity. All right, if you remember from the previous videos. So I'm gonna get the string extra and give the title. Okay, and now since this is access inside this inner class, we need to make this final, so we'll make the data final. Otherwise, instead of making that, I want to copy this and make this global variable. Okay, so copy this and paste it here just after the declaration of our class, and remove this intent class from here. And now we don't need to make it final, we can access this throughout the class here. So okay, so we have sent the data through the title key here, and similarly I want to pass the content. So I'm gonna start the put, I'm gonna add another put extra here and give the key as content and send the data. Okay, so now we have the data. Now I want to start this activity using the start activity, pass the intent. So that is how we can pass the data. And since this is, now we have passed the data from node details activity to the edit note activity. Okay, now I'm gonna go here and take the data. I'm gonna create the global variable just like what I did in that node details activity. So intent, I'm gonna get the data as a variable name, so data equals to get intent. All right, and now we can get the title and the content of the data that is passed from the node details activity. So I'm going to create one string variable here and name that as node title, and use the get data, get string extra, and pass the key to extract the data. Similarly, I want to create the variable for node content, and similarly using the key and get string extra method, I can extract the data that is passed from the node details.java class. Alright, now this node title and node content has the data of our node title and the content of the node. Okay, let me go to the activity edit node here, and here I need to add the text view that we need. So in the activity edit node, we need edit text to edit the data. Alright, so I'm going to go to the text, select the multi-line text from here and paste it here. Okay, and fix the constraint, remove the border from this text view, and we can, if you remember, we can remove this border by giving the background tint as transparent. I'm going to set the transparent background and it will remove that, as well as I'm going to select the match constraint here and match constraint here as well. Okay, now I'm going to give the ID here, so edit node content. Now we also need the toolbar here, and in that toolbar we'll give the option to edit the node title. So since this is the empty activity, we need to add the toolbar ourselves. So I'm going to do that here just before this edit node widget. So toolbar, or you know what, we already have the toolbar created in our activity add node here. So I'm going to copy that from here, copy this widget with this edit text and paste into our edit node here, just like this. Okay, now I'm going to change this ID from edit node, add node to edit node, fix the constraint for the toolbar. All right, so this is the layout we need for this. So now from the edit text, I can get the XML resources into the edit text. First thing we need is node edit node title, and second thing we need is edit node content. Now here I'm gonna assign the XML resources for this edit node title and content. So find view ID r.id edit node content. All right, and similarly for the edit node title. Yeah, so this is the XML resources we need. Now we already have the title of the content and content of the node, title of the node and content of the node. Now I want to set this node to the edit text here, so that user can edit or delete the currently present content of the node. All right, so let me do that by using set text. So edit node title dot set text and set the node title here like this. Similarly for the content dot set text. So now if I run this application, we'll be able to see these contents and the title in the edit text activity. So I'm gonna run this application. Okay guys, the app is running now, and if I click on any of this, we can go to the details of this particular node, and if I click on this edit button here, it is going to redirect me to the details activity. It is showing the content title and the content here, but since I forgot to set the custom toolbar to this activity and apply the no action bar theme, the content is over the title of the node. So I'm going to fix that toolbar. Since we have given the custom toolbar here, first I'm going to set that to this activity. So from here, after the set content view, I'm going to create new toolbar variable, find view ID r.id toolbar. All right, so now I can use set content view, set support action bar to set the custom toolbar. So let me import here, import the class and import the first one, Android X. Okay, now I'm going to go to the manifest here and apply the no action bar theme to this toolbar. Okay, so this one. All right, so now I'm going to go back here again and fix the constraint. So for the edit node content, I'm gonna remove the top constraint from here and set this constraint to this toolbar. So now I'm going to run this application and it's going to fix that error. Okay, now I'm going to click on any of this node here and click on edit button here, and it's going to display this title and the content, and I can add the extra content here. All right, now I'm gonna implement the firestore database here in this edit node.java, because whenever we give the updated node content here, we want to save that into the Firebase database. All right, so to do that, first we need the instance of firestore database. So Firebase firestore fstore. Here I'm gonna get the instance of firestore database, fstore.get instance. Now here in the activity.edit node XML layout, I want to give one more floating button so that whenever user add the new content here, they can save that to the database. So to do that, we need to give some option to save the data. So I want to add the floating button here. So I'm going to copy the same exact code that we used to get the floating button. So from the activity add node, I'm going to go here and copy this floating button code and paste that in the edit node XML layout file. Just after this edit text, paste it here, and I'm going to fix the constraint. Okay, and I will also change the ID here, save edited, and I'm going to change that ID from here instead of there. Okay, so now I can add the same code here in the edit node.java and handle the click on that button. So we already know the code that we need, so I'm going to copy that code from here and paste it in the edit node.java file. Okay, and now inside this we're going to insert the data into the firestore database. So since we have the firestore instance here, I'm gonna get the content of this field. Whenever the user click on the save button, I want to verify that the title and the content edit text are not empty, and if they are not empty, we're going to insert that. So this is the same logic that we have used in the activity add node, where we had added the new node into the database. So I'm gonna go to the add node activity file here, and from here I can copy the same thing, the same code, and paste into the edit node.java file inside this onClick method. Okay, and now here we need to make few changes. Instead of this node title, we're going to use this edit node title, because we are getting the data from the edit node field, and similarly from the edit node content. All right, now to make the toast here, we need to change this to edit node, because we need to get the current context. And now we don't have the progress bar here, so I'm gonna go to the edit node and add one progress bar. So from widget, select one progress bar, drop that here and fix the constant. I'm gonna let the ID to be progress bar 2. So I'm gonna go here and create the new variable for progress bar and set the resources here, spinner, find viewer ID, r.id progress bar 2. Okay, now I can use the spinner variable instead of this progress bar save. So spinner, and change this to edit node and spinner here as well. So now we are creating the map object here as well from the new updated content. And one important thing we need to change here is we need to use update here instead of set. Okay, so we'll use this update method of this document reference to update the content of the particular document. But one major flaw here that you can notice is we are still creating new nodes instead of updating the existing one, right? So here, if you remember what I told you before in the video where we created this document reference, I told you that it's going to create the new empty document. So here we are just creating the new empty document instead of updating it. So to update the document, we need the ID of the document. We can point our document reference to the correct node which we want to update. So to do that, we need the ID. So we don't have ID available here in this edit node, but we do have that ID available at the main activity. So if I go to the main activity from here, And whenever we started this node details intent here for the first time, I can add the extra ID here, that is the ID of the particular node. So from here in the main activity, I'm going to pass the node ID, and we can use that node ID to throughout this project to edit or delete that particular node. Okay, so create new put extra field here, I.put extra, and pass the node ID. And now I can use the create one string field just below this saying doc ID, and here I can use node adapter to get the snapshot and get snapshot, and here I will pass the position of the snapshot and I'll get the ID. And now I can use that ID here to pass the node ID to the another activity. So doc ID. Now we have this doc ID available in the node details activity here. So from here I also want to send the same node ID to the edit node activity, because we are actually not using the node ID here in the node details activity because our content and title is already passed from the main activity here, so we can just display that. But to edit the node we need the node ID, so I'm gonna pass the node ID from here, and I can get the node ID using the get string extra method and node ID. All right, so now we are passing this node ID from the node details activity to the edit node activity. All right, so now inside the edit node activity I can get that. Okay, so here in the document reference I'm going to pass the collections as nodes, and here I'm going to specify the node ID. So I can get the node ID using the data and get string extra, because the data is the variable name that we have assigned to this get intent class, and the data, whatever data passed from the edit node.java file is stored here. So this data contains the title, content and the node ID now. So I'm going to pass the node ID. Make sure this key value is same as what you have given here in the main activity as well as in the node ID. Okay, in the edit node.java, let me close these files, we don't need them. Now in the edit node.java we have this document reference which is pointing to the node ID. Now I'll go ahead and run this application, and we'll be able to update our node. And when the node is updated successfully, I want to send them back to the main activity. So I'm going to start the new activity here. Okay, so I'm going to run this application now. Okay, the application is running. I'm going to click one of these nodes, click on edit. Let me check what is the error. Click on error here. Okay, it says the onClick listener is invoked in the null. So let me go to the edit node here. Okay, so if you remember we have changed this ID to the something else, so I'm going to change that. So let me go back here and check what is the ID that we had given in the edit node layout. Okay, the ID is save edited node. So I'm going to copy this from here and paste here. Now we should be able to click on this button. So run this again and we'll see. Okay, the application is running here. Now I'm going to click on this node and edit it. Okay, now we can go back to this edit node activity, but the spinner is still displaying here. So I'm going to check. Okay, I'm going to make that invisible. Just after this I will make that spinner invisible from here. We don't want this to be displayed when we open that activity for the first time, so make this invisible. Okay, now it is gone. Run this again. Okay, our Android app is running now, and I'm gonna click on this long note here and click on edit, and now I'm going to update the node title and the node content here. So I'm gonna delete this entire title. And I'm going to delete the content. So now when I click on the save button here, it's going to save this node and it's going to redirect me back to the main activity and where we can see the changes. So click on save now, and it is displaying the spinner and node added message, and we are back to the main activity. And you can see this node is updated with the new title and the content as well. I'm going to change the message that it displays when it saved the node. instead of displaying note added, I'm gonna display the note saved. So guys, this is the end of this part. In the next part, we are going to implement this pop-up menu here in this recycler view item, and when user click on this, we'll display the pop-up menu here, and that menu will have two options to edit and delete the note. So whenever somebody click on the delete option, it is going to delete this note and update the recycler view in the real time. And if somebody click on edit button or edit option in the menu, we'll send them to the edit note option, edit note activity. Okay, and after that we will start implementing the Firebase authentication to this note application. We'll also implement the anonymous authentication, and we'll start merging the anonymous account with the real account and so on. So if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, subscribe to our channel, like this video, share this in the social media so that other people can join us on this journey to make this Android application. And I will see you in the next video. Bye bye. Have a great day.